We need to talk about what's happening in America right now. Um, if for some reason you have no idea what has been going on for the past week and a half now, last Monday, George Floyd was murdered by basically four different officers. One knelt on the back of his neck for, I believe the time was 8 minutes and 46 seconds. The officer knelt on his neck until he died, and the other three officers watched. And since then, there has been great unrest in America, and for good reason. This is just the most recent, and he's not even the most recent. Since then, Tony McDade has died. In Toronto, a black woman named Regis Korchinski Paquette, I wanted to make sure that I pronounced her name right, was pushed off of a balcony to her death by police officers. Before George Floyd, there was Breonna Taylor, who was shot 8 times in her own bed by cops who entered the wrong house, which, why would your response, if you had entered the right house, were you going to shoot someone 8 times in their bed? I don't. The point is, something has to be changed. In America, all over the world. I'm not going to say that America is the only country that has problems with police brutality. It's everywhere. America is just in the spotlight right now because we keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. And really, I don't even think it qualifies as being called a mistake. It is blatant racism, and it has been happening for years. Everyone loves to say, oh, racism is in the past. It is not. Racism is still here. The only difference is that it's getting photographed, videoed, shared. Everyone is seeing what is happening. And the cops are not getting any... Nothing's happening to them. At most, they're getting fired, but then they're still getting their pension and everything like that. And it's just... It's frustrating. As a citizen of America, it is frustrating to know that my friends and my family and everyone in this country that is a different skin color, that is black, is getting treated as lesser than by the cops. And something has to be done about this. I know I don't get very political on this channel, and that is a privilege. That is white privilege speaking, and I can't just sit by and watch this keep happening again and again. I know I don't have a very big following here on YouTube, but I don't want to be silent. Silence is siding with the oppressor, and silence is compliance. And I'm not just gonna be quiet and watch this keep happening. I'm not going to not say something. I want the people that follow me, whether they are black people, people of color, white people, whoever is following me, I want them to know that racism has no home here. It has no home here. I have ended friendships that I have had for years over these protests right now. And I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it. Racism is not something that we can be friends and just ignore. It's not something that you can follow me and think that it's okay if as long as you're quietly racist. No. If you are racist in any way, form, or fashion, get off my page right now. Unsubscribe, unfollow me on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, wherever it is that you follow me. Get off, because I don't want you seeing my content. My content is not for you. This past Sunday, the 31st of May, I went to a peaceful protest in Orlando. We marched to the OPD, which happens to be in the black community, so make that make sense. So we marched to OPD. We stayed there for about 15-20 minutes. We begged the police officers to kneel with us, to agree with us, something, and they all just smirked or laughed or wouldn't pay any attention to us. It was disgusting. And just seeing that they had hundreds of these cops lined up outside of a building, like their building matters more than black lives, and seeing snipers on top of the building and everything like that, when we were just protesting peacefully, asking them to hear us, to stand with us. And it was just, it fell on deaf ears. They didn't want to be friendly with us in any capacity. And as the protest went on, we recognized that more as we marched to a toll road. I'm trying not to use any specific names or anything like that, just in the off chance that this video is being watched by people that are trying to do bad things to protesters, which is a thing that is happening. It's been happening since Ferguson. People that have been in iconic photos and videos of protest go missing and end up brutally murdered. And I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want it to happen to anyone that I was with at that protest. So I'm refraining from using names or other specific locations other than OPD, because that's pretty obvious that we were going to stop at OPD. But so we marched from OPD to a road that they had used the night before to get back to our starting point. And the cops had the entrance and exit to this road blocked off. And so we stopped there. And we were singing and dancing, listening to music, having fun, just trying to be seen and trying to be heard. And the friend that I went with, we were towards the back. And all of a sudden we just see people start running and screaming. So we start to run, and we stop because someone bumped into us and someone dropped their phone. So we picked it up trying to find out who it belonged to. And I personally thought it had been a bit of a false alarm because I didn't really see anything else happening. But we walked back over, and there are reporters and other protesters drenching themselves in milk because they had been maced in the eyes. We still don't entirely know what happened. The rumor is that someone towards the back of the crowd in front of the police threw empty bottles at the police. And even if that were the case, why would the police respond by macing the people at the very front if they saw the bottles come from the back? But anyways, so they maced people. We remembered that my friend had milk, so we went closer to the thick of it to try and help and figure out who needed milk, who needed, whatever. And I guess I happened to walk in a cloud of the remnants of the pepper spray, so it got in my eye, and I had to get milk in the face to try and combat that. And it was just like, we didn't do anything. I mean, we don't even know if the story about them throwing stuff from the back of the crowd is true. I was at the back of the crowd. I didn't see anyone throw anything. I just saw people start running. So for the media and for police officers and everything to continuously say that the protesters are the ones instigating and the protesters are the ones starting everything is just a complete and total lie, because I've seen firsthand that that is not the case. And social media has been very telling. Twitter has been my number one source of information, which I feel like usually is a bad way to get your news. But when you're seeing people post videos of themselves in protests or at these different places, and they're trying to stop white people from looting, and they're trying to be friendly with the cops, and the cops are pulling down their face masks and spraying mace directly into their eyes. It's eye-opening to see the kind of stuff that the cops are doing and that they're getting away with, because not a single one of these cops are getting in trouble. Not a single one of them. And they're covering their badge number so that they can't be identified, which is illegal. And it's just, this whole situation has proven that the cops don't care. The cops, I mean, if they're willing to be like this on video, if they have a camera in their face and they're spraying reporters, they're punching reporters in the face, they don't care. They're beyond a point of being worried about repercussions because they know that they are protected. And that shouldn't be a thing. They should be held accountable. And I'm sorry if this is all over the place. I don't really have a script or anything that I'm just kind of going by whatever's coming to me, because it's so frustrating, and I don't know how you can even form a coherent line of thought about all of this, because it's just so much is happening and so much keeps happening, and I don't see a point where this is going to stop. People are going to get angrier and angrier. These protests aren't going to stop overnight because cops are putting up curfews. They're going to keep happening. We're going to keep coming out. We're going to keep protesting as peacefully as we can, which is 100%. Every protest that I have seen has started out peaceful and hasn't been violent until the police or the cops or the National Guard or the military show up, which is just absurd. Americans have a right for peaceful protest, freedom of speech. There was the First Amendment. And now we're being told, oh, well, no, only if you do it this way, or only if you are not saying anything. And that's not the point of the First Amendment. We should have the right to protest peacefully in a way that is seen and heard without being scared of being maced in the face just for saying that Black Lives Matter. It's just, this whole thing is incomprehensible. I don't have the words for it anymore. I need things to change. Black people need things to change, and we're gonna get it one way or another, whether racist people like it or not. I've been fortunate enough that I have been able to donate to one of the many bail funds that are out there. I have signed every petition that I have come across. I've gone to a protest. I would like to go to another one, but I'm trying to give myself some time to recuperate, because going to a protest takes out a lot, and especially considering that we're in the middle of a pandemic, you also have to take care of yourself and make sure that you aren't getting COVID or anything like that. So I'm doing what I can, and I urge you to do the same as well, especially my American viewers. I am going to link a Google Docs document down in the comments, or in the bio, the description of this video. I'm so sorry. It's a Google document that it's just a master post of every petition that you can sign, every place you can donate. There are different numbers and addresses where you can communicate with different members of Congress and the government and stuff like that. So I urge you to take a look at that if you can. I believe there are a few international petitions at least on there, and I believe I saw a link where you could click on it to see what you can do if you live overseas and want to make a difference here in America as well. I am also going to link, if you do not have any money, if you cannot go out to protest, if you've signed all the petitions you can find already, a woman by the name of Zoe Amira created a video here on YouTube that is about an hour long. And it is riddled with ads, and the revenue for the ads is being split between 16 different funds in support of Black Lives Matter, all you have to do is leave that video on, at least with half volume on, at least at 480p. You can put headphones in on your computer and go about and do your business throughout the rest of the day. You can watch the video as many times as you want, but it is suggested that you watch 2 or 3 videos before you watch that video again, just to kind of make sure that the ads are going to continue working and everything. And if you are watching it over and over again, do not refresh that video. You're going to want to click out of the video entirely and then find the video again and click on it to make sure that you're continuing to give those ads new revenue for these different funds. You also just have to make sure that your ad blocker is off, because obviously if the ad blocker is on, you're not going to be getting any ads on your video, which is the whole point. And actually, I believe there are several other videos up there now that are of the same kind of thing. You know, you just watch it for a while and there's a bunch of ads on it. But Zoe Amira, I believe, is the first one that did it, and that's the one that I've been watching as frequently as I can. So I will link that video down below in the description as well. I will also link some information about if you decide to go protest. And if you do decide to go protest, be careful. Do not go alone. Make sure that you have... I would take as little as possible. That's what I did. When I went, I took this phone. This is like, you put your phone in it so it doesn't get wet in the pool or whatever. I took this. I put money. I haven't touched it since I left. I put money in here, my phone, my driver's license, and my car key. I didn't even bring my apartment keys or anything with me. I left those in the car and only brought my car key. So bring as little as you can. Bring water. Bring milk, although I have heard now that milk is not so good. So what I've heard of people using instead is equal parts water and liquid stomach antacid, and that pretty much neutralizes the pepper spray pretty quickly. So make sure that you have that. Although, even if you don't bring it, I guarantee you that there are dozens of people at the protest with you that will have brought that stuff. I lost count of how many people I saw handing out snacks and water and Gatorade, and who had cartons of milk with them. So even if you don't bring that kind of stuff, if you're not able to bring that kind of stuff, I guarantee you that there will be other people there with it. Just try to bring it if you can. Cover up any tattoos that you have, anything that is going to make you personally identifiable, because as I mentioned, there are people out there that are turning people in based off of videos and photographs that they found. And I just recently saw on Twitter today where a company was asked to identify people by their tattoos and they refused to do it. So there are bad people out there that are trying to find these protesters and trying to make bad things happen to them. So if you go out there and protest, cover everything up. Wear long sleeves, long pants, shoes that are comfortable to walk in. That was my mistake. I had read that you should read combat boots, and so that's what I wore without realizing that we were going to be marching a total of 8 miles. So that was rough on me personally. So I've learned from that. Wear comfortable shoes that you can walk in and that you can run in, because as soon as they start firing mace or tear gas, especially, and rubber bullets, you have to get out of there. You need to get out of there. Protesting is important, but your safety is important also. So as soon as you see them start throwing tear gas canisters or rubber bullets, make sure that you're getting out of there as safely as you can. Park away from where you're either marching or where you're starting, because it's just, that's the safest way. And it does suck if you're parked a bit away from either where you're going or where you're starting, but it's safer for you. Just make sure that you're parking somewhere where you're not going to get towed, because that's going to be a whole other problem. And if you can, wear goggles, wear your mask. Obviously, we're in the middle of a pandemic, it's a hard decision to go out there and protest while we're in the middle of the pandemic, but just I can't tell you not to go out there. Especially because I went out there and I did wear a mask until I absolutely had to take mine off because of the pepper spray. But wear your mask. If you can, bring extras. A lot of people I saw were bringing extra masks so they could either hand them out to people or have them in case theirs got wet or messed up and stuff like that. So wear a mask, bring extras if you have them. What else? Bring an extra pair of clothes to keep in your car if you do get gassed or pepper sprayed, because you do not want to get those clothes in your car and get your car all saturated in the pepper spray as well. That's all I can think of, but like I said, I will link to some articles down below in which you can figure out more concrete information about protesting and whatnot. All in all, I mean, there's nothing else to say anymore. Black Lives Matter, and if people don't understand that, then they're beyond help at this point, and just it shouldn't be something that is an argument. Racism shouldn't be an argument. Racism should not exist, and the fact that it has continued and has gotten worse for years is absolutely absurd. And we just, as a nation, as a world, we need to do better, and we need to do better. And I don't know. That's all I have left to say. Black Lives Matter. One more thing I'd like to add real quickly, because I realized that I did not say this in my video and I really should have. Listen to your Black friends. Hear them, hear their stories, listen to them, be there for them, support them. I would like to do the same for you if you are my follower and you are Black. And if I have said something that is wrong or offensive, please tell me so that I can correct myself. I do not want to offend you at all in any way, and if any of this has come across as that, I apologize immensely.